All right, so I'm recording now. Hi, everybody. This is Irma here with another remote huddle. If you haven't checked out our past remote huddles, please feel free to head back into the description down below of this video and check out the other two remote huddles that I've done in the past 2 months. I'm sure you will gladly enjoy them. And so what we're doing here today, we're holding a remote huddle. This is all part of Remote Newbie, which is a newsletter that I run, helping remote workers level up, whether they're first time working remote or it's been a few years and they're still having a few challenges. So the newsletter is really there to help out folks as they kind of carry out their remote work journey and making sure that they're as successful as possible as they work from home or really anywhere from remotely. So today we actually have Oleg on the call, and I'm super excited to talk to him. He is going to be talking to us today about how can we build trust and a little bit more of autonomy when you are working remote, because it's so different from working in an office where you're kind of co-located and you might have like this face-to-face trust with somebody. And so when you look at it from a remote standpoint, it's very, very different. So I will kind of kick it off to Oleg to give us a quick intro on who he is and his product that he has right now, helping out remote teams communicate a little bit better.
All right, hey guys, my name is Oleg. I'm going to show my presentation right now. Actually, unfortunately, I didn't have much time to create a very with a great quality of presentation. So I will just check. I will show you my PowerPoint.
I'm sure it's great.
All right, just a second. Just a second, please. All right. I guess we
that's
can
perfect.
continue.
Yeah, you're good.
So let me say a few things about myself. I'm a software engineer with 15 years of experience. I worked in different companies, in big and small, in Russia, in local companies, in international companies. I have bootstrapped around 5 software products, just created products by myself and bootstrapped them. And I'm a huge fan of remote work. And I've created a product called Video Work Link. This is the tool that connects remote teammates, remote team members via live video, providing an individual sense of privacy. What kind of problem Video Work Link solves for remote teams and for remote work in general? I call that problem the problem of disconnection. In a modern remote workspace and workplace, people are disconnected by default. Even with tools like Skype or Zoom, remote team members have to make a call to establish a contact, to talk to one another. Before making the call and after making the call, they're still disconnected. So they are disconnected by default. In comparison with that, in the office, people are by default connected. So when they are around each other in the same office room, they can see each other, they can talk to each other instantaneously and spontaneously. Such communication is much faster and much more efficient than communication that I've mentioned, which is disconnected by default. I do even have my own hypothesis, unproven hypothesis, that most companies still prefer to work in the office because being office brings people together and forces them to be connected by default. So people can communicate quickly, share ideas quickly, talk to one another. They see each other's presence, can have nonverbal communication, and so on. So, and in order to solve that problem, I created a tool called Video Work Link. So what it does, it connects remote team members via live video. So every team member can see others' presence and talk to other team members spontaneously. A user can just push a button to unmute a microphone and talk to his team members. So obviously, it connects people via live video, and moreover, it provides an individual sense of privacy. Why it does that? Since people work remotely, mostly from home, they usually feel very uncomfortable and feel kind of very uncomfortable when they have live video turned on for a long time. For example, when people have long video calls in Skype or Zoom, they do not like it because it feels awkward and intrusive. That is why I felt that such tool needs to provide an individual sense of privacy. So it provides additional features that make it comfortable to remain connected via live video. So the number of features includes several things that aim to make it comfortable to remain connected via live video. So the first thing is, in the product that I created, the video is mutual or voluntary. So the product is designed in a way that prevents situations when, for example, one user can see someone and he is not seen, as in surveillance systems, for example. I mean, like the situations when you feel that you know that you are seen, but you cannot see the other person who looks at you. So the product prevents that. A user can see others only when he has his video turned on, and vice versa. This is the first thing about the privacy. The second thing is a user is blurred by default. It's an additional privacy feature. So user is blurred by default. So he is seen, that others can see him, that he's present and he's available, but can't see the details of what exactly he's doing. For example, he can drink coffee, for example, doing something else. But others can see only a blurred, his blurred live video feed. So it's very easy to unblur. To unblur a user, you just have to make one click to unblur a user. And when user gets unblurred, he receives a clear and big notification that he's going to be unblurred within a few seconds. So these features, they provide additional privacy, but at the same time still allow quick communication. So it kind of strikes a balance between quick communication and privacy. From one side, you can unblur some user and user can unblur you, but on another side, you still have privacy. So for every user is blurred by default, and there are no situations when a user is visible by people who are invisible by themselves. So video is mutual and voluntary. Well, I would say these features together, they allow to stay connected, to remain connected via live video, And in comparison with tools like Skype or Zoom, you don't have only two states. For example, one state is being connected, like, for example, if we launch a Skype call or a Zoom call for forever or for the whole day, and the second state is totally disconnected, only being able to text to the other users. Uh, in using such tool like video work link, you have the third state, which is somewhere in the middle between being totally disconnected and connected without any restrictions, like when having a Skype or Zoom video call turned on for forever. So I think it maybe not solves, but helps to solve the problem of disconnection that I mentioned. Um, so that's pretty much it that I wanted to tell you about Video Work Link and what it does.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I had just a super quick question. I think it's interesting because I think some companies I've seen require their employees to leave their video camera on like all day, which I find very intrusive. It's never happened to me, but I have heard of other people that this has happened to. So do you see kind of Video Work Link being mostly for those companies, like those companies that want to have that sort of quick connection to their employees, or do you see this as something that's like replacing tools like Zoom or Skype, and having just everybody, when you log in for the day for your job, like you're essentially hopping into the Video Work Link kind of room and you're kind of staying on there all day? Is that kind of like how it works within remote teams? It's kind of like you log in at the beginning of the day, you stay on there until you clock out, or however your company does your work day. But really, like you're kind of available, not at all times, but you're pretty like available by just hitting on their thumbnail within your program. Is that kind of how you see it working, or how it works in real life?
Yeah, I think Video Work Link, it's like a continuous connection. So I don't think that it's a replacement for Skype or Zoom, because it's for a different purpose. Skype or Zoom and tools like that, they're for making video calls. For example, like to have online meetings, to have a summer meeting to discuss several topics. So we get together, discuss something, and we go and continue working by ourselves. So just like meetings. Video Work Link is a continuous connection. I think it can be left working for the whole day. Of course, if people want to do that, it can be left working within the overlap hours. For example, like distributed teams, they have overlap hours between different time zones. Video Work Link doesn't provide a high quality video connection, so it mostly aimed for spontaneous discussions, spontaneous communication. It allows remote team members just to be like connected via live video, and like they see each other. They do not have total disconnection, that they're just like they're by themselves. So it's not a replacement, definitely, for the companies who are leaving Skype or Zoom for the whole day. Yes, they could definitely use Video Work Link, and I strongly think that Video Work Link would be much more comfortable for the employees. I'm pretty sure that many people feel really awkward when they have to work with Skype call going for the whole day. So I think, yeah, the companies that you've mentioned, the companies that use Skype, Zoom for the whole day, they could definitely use that, and that it would be much better for the employees of such companies, less nervous for them. So in general, I think another benefit that video working could provide for companies is, well, people, many companies, they used, they want to, and they used to communicate us inside the office. So I, I think that many companies are not ready uh, to use different practices to create effective uh, asynchronous remote work. I think to be able to work remotely effectively in disconnected environment, companies usually have to do a different things to bring team together. So they have to organize one-on-ones, they have to organize additional meetings, educate people to communicate more proactively. And for many companies, it is a very difficult thing to do because it requires different management practices. And in my opinion, with tools like video working, you can do that in a way that you're used to do that in the office. So you just talk to your team members and so on. So yeah.
Do you think it's like valuable for teams to um, have more check-ins throughout the day? Like it just becomes part of like their remote work policy or culture where there are more kind of like ad hoc or spontaneous discussions. Because I think it's really hard. It's really easy to get stuck on your work all day and just be heads down. So like how do you suggest people kind of like pull themselves out of their work for, I don't know, 15 minutes and like talk to their coworker? Like what would you say that like that motivator is, or how do you build that habit within your workday?
Oh, it's really hard to do that. I think in in disconnected environment. Well, the most common practice that I've seen around the internet and in some companies, they try to create a business process for communication. So the asynchronous remote work in disconnected environment, sometimes usually it comes down to scheduling more meetings. Usually it comes down to creating more rules of how we should communicate, uh, how often we should connect to each other, how often we should make calls to each other. Like, for example, we have our company is going to have one-on-ones every week and do various different things to create more connected environment. So it's kind of creating more structure for communication to achieve better connectedness. Yeah.
So cool. That's yeah. I really I agree with that. I think every company should definitely have that top of mind, right? Whenever an employee comes in, like making sure that they understand, or at least they can get in the habit of talking to their coworkers.
Yeah.
I know some companies have done like, like a random channel in Slack or,
Yeah.
food or whatever it is to kind of get people talking a little bit. But I think like that's text, right? So it's like, how do you take that into kind of a face-to-face format, which is what we were used to from being in an office. And so I guess my last question for you, and if Nora, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know too. What kind of like action steps can somebody who's just listening today, whether they're an employee or maybe they run their own company, what's like one thing they can do like today to um, create more connectedness within their team? Something that's like really easy to set up, kind of just get them going.
Oh well, I think uh, I think employees, and especially managers, in my opinion, it would be great if they were more open towards trying new things, new tools, like, well, not only video working, but there are a lot of innovative, pretty interesting tools out there that could be useful for remote work. For example, TeamSpeak or Sneak, SNEEK, and video working too. So what I encountered is that people are sometimes very defensive when they hear live video communication, like being connected via live video. Well, of course, people don't like to feel awkward. They do not like to. They do not like the fact that camera is working in front of them, and like camera is taking their live feeds. So I would say that the simple thing and the action step that they could immediately make is just go and try the latest new innovative tools for communication in remote teams. There are plenty of great things out there that they could try and just try to use them, and generally just try to use them and try to feel what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I think on top of that, it's really about like experimenting to see what works for your own team, right? You can follow what another company does, but it might not really work for your culture or like just the way that you communicate with each other. So yeah, trying it out. That's huge. Yeah. Cool. And then to wrap up, where can people kind of go to learn more about Video Work Link, and what do they get when they sign up?
People simply can go to videoworklink.com. They can also reach out to me at the following URL: about me, Oleg Galkin. Well, they can go to videoworklink.com and simply download and try the product. So it's very, very easy and simple. You go to the website, click download, and install the software and try it with your team. The one thing that I want to mention that don't go to Video Worklink within the next 24 hours because the provider has maintenance.
Perfect.
So it's very easy. It's very easy, and yeah, I'd really appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah, feel free to go check out videoworklink.com, and all of Oleg's links will be in the YouTube description once this goes live. So that'll be there. And yeah, thank you again, Oleg, for joining. Thank you, Nora, for jumping in today as well. And this will be recorded. This is recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. And it'll be going out tomorrow with the mailing list. So more folks will be able to jump in and hopefully leave some comments, letting us know what they think are ways that they can increase trust, build trust, build those connections. And yeah, looking forward to kind of keeping up the discussion. Thank you again for joining, and I'll see everybody next time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.